I'm Jaelin Ivory. I am the founder of Cope. I'm a holistic health coach and life coach, as cringy as both those titles are. I'm desperately trying to remodel what those words mean, what those titles mean. Hopefully be a little bit more of a relatable version of what those things are for the person that I used to be who couldn't relate to either of those things. Like the idea of being a health coach or a life coach was fucking disgusting to me. So trying to just embody that in a way that's a little bit more authentic. I'm a podcaster, I'm a health researcher, I'm a writer, I'm a media guy, media company. Yeah. So I'm a traveler, I'm a surfer.
You do it all.
It's just some things.
So how would you define holistic health coach, or how do you want to be known?
I mean, this is gonna sound so crunchy, but not like white girl shaman, but I literally feel like I was born to be that. I am Native American partially, and like I just feel like, later in life when I like learned about the shamanic traditions and like what that role actually meant beyond just like a title. It was never like a flashy thing. It was just like a particular person in society who was outside of the norm and who people could come to for perspective and for guidance. And that's what I feel like I was born to be, but you can't say you're a fucking shaman because that's weird as shit. So I kind of identify as like a Sherpa, like more so. You can't say that either, but that's like a pretty accurate description. I feel like I come into people's lives for whatever reason to be a guide for them, not to climb the mountain for them, but to climb the mountain with them, and to just be a person that people can turn to when it comes to especially like nutrition and mental health and mindfulness and physical health in general. It's been like a weird like 5-year journey of just like leaning in and then like finding all of the parts of me that resist leaning into that, like being public facing, identifying as a health coach, getting certified as a health coach, getting certified as a life coach, which is like even fucking worse, charging for my services, being a podcaster, being public facing, like just one by one over the years since I started this journey like 7 years ago, I'm just like finding all these little pockets of resistance in me that like cringe for some reason, and not just for like the public perception of what I think other people are going to think of me, but actually like getting down below that. I mean, that was definitely a fucking layer, but like getting below that and like finding more discreet insecurities, I guess, of like not wanting to stand out. Who the fuck do you think you are telling people how to live their lives? Who the fuck do you think you are charging people for you to tell them about what they should do with their lives, who are usually like twice your age or whatever? So I'm just like trying to find all these spots in which I'm resistant to who I am and don't want me to stand tall, to speak with my chest out, and to look people in the eye, to be confident, to command attention in a room, to get any attention at all, to be 6 foot tall. Like I've always like scrunched down. So now I'm trying to slow down, breathe, speak, look, and just be a man, I guess, and be the man that I am.
So do you think that a lot of that, is it a fear of being seen, or is it rooted in insecurity? Have you gotten down to the root of that for you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've had this weird thing, just like looking the way that I look and having like, a white family since I was a kid. I mean, just having the color eyes that I have, like, I didn't realize until recently, but it really affected me. Like, just people always reinforcing this narrative since I understood the human language. Hey man, you're different. Hey man, you're different. So like, I didn't realize until recently really that I'd like internalized this mechanism of making myself small, of not just hiding and not wanting that attention, because I'm also like a pretty sensitive guy, and like it's overwhelming sort of to get attention or for people to look to you for XYZ, or to just be treated differently in any way. And like, it's not that big of a fucking deal. There's a lot of unique people in the world, but I grew up in the South, so I think that was just a really heavy thing of like growing up in a very white country southern place that I didn't feel like I ever belonged. So I wanted to belong, and I tried to make myself small in order to fit into that. And then eventually I was like, that's super lame. Should not do that. And it never fucking worked. It just never worked for a second. Not for a damn second. So I'm just like giving up my charade and just standing out, I guess, now.
Well, it seems like you're like a living contradiction, because in a lot of ways you want to stand out and be different and help people change their lives for the better, and that's not the norm.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're also fearful of doing that.
Well, it's like the fear I don't think was my own. I think it's like just shit that I picked up, like, you know, from society telling you to like stand in line, don't draw too much attention to yourself, like this tall poppy syndrome. And like that's kind of, I guess, what I'm realizing is like that fear, that insecurity, that's not fucking mine. That's not who I am. Dude, when I was a kid, I was like just a cheery, bright-eyed kid. I didn't know I was fucking different. I didn't know anything. Like, I was pure. I was myself. And I think that that's like the best version of me when I'm just being who I am. I'm not really giving a fuck. And I actually don't give a fuck at all about what anybody thinks about me. So I think I've been a contradiction, and I'm freeing myself of that friction and resistance. And now I'm just like being.
And now that you're stepping into this more boldly and really owning who you are, how is that affecting Cope and all that you're building?
Cope is me. Cope is my story. Cope is me wanting to feel better and to not have crazy bad acne and to not wonder if I was gonna die the next morning, not worry about my health, not be limited by the things that I wanna do. If I wanna go paddle out in waves of consequence, I don't wanna be out of shape. I wanna be strong. I wanna be able to climb mountains. I wanna be able to boulder. I wanna be able to do the things that I wanna do. And Cope was just me realizing that like it's not health for the sake of health or for luxury or because you're rich. It's literally like self-care is that which allows you to do the things that you love. And doing the things that you love is self-care. And like me realizing that loop is everything that I embody now is like I have to take care of myself if I want to do what I love and be true to myself. And me being true to myself is where I find health and vitality.
So what would you title this chapter of your life?
Ivory.
Why is that?
It's my middle name. I'm like weird about middle names. I always ask people what their middle names are. I think that it's like a cool way to realize something that is not often shown to the world. So I think that that's kind of what I'm embodying. Like I go by Jaelin Ivory now instead of Jaelin Hasty. And I'm trying to give life to that part of me that's been tucked away.
What are you learning to love about yourself?
Everything. All that I am. The truth of who I am. Flaws and strengths, which are a lot harder, I think, in a lot of ways to like actually own that like, no, like you are actually that guy in certain ways, you know? And just, yeah, all that I am. Flaws, strengths, weaknesses, blessings, my differentness, all that I am.
And is there anything else that you want to tell the viewers?
Cope well. Life is not, your character, your life is not defined by what happens to you, but by how you cope with your circumstances. That's what's going to define who you are. That is what really matters. Shit's going to fucking happen, but what are you going to do about it? Who are you going to be despite the storm, through the storm, with the storm?